Hey everyone, this is Athletes and Antiquities, and in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about how you guys can collect alternate art cards without breaking the bank. So in this video, I kind of want to just talk about alternate art cards in general, because it's like the new craze, basically. I want to give you guys my thoughts on them, and I want to show you guys some cards that are comparable to alternate arts that you can buy for much cheaper. So if you're hurting with your wallet, there's some beautiful cards that can stand next to an alternate art for a fraction of the price. So first, I want to talk about alternate arts in general. I think alternate art cards are the best thing to happen to Pokemon cards since Gold Stars. People have been looking for a chase card that's beautiful and very hard to pull since Gold Stars. Since Gold Stars, there have been a lot of rarities we've had. We've had EXs, we've had level X's, we've had primes, we've had legend cards, those ones that are like half cards. We've had the uppercase EXs from Black and White Forward. We've had Vs, we've had Rainbow Rares. We had the Golds from Legendary Treasures. We had the Silver Dialga from that one XY set. I think it was like Phantom Forces. We've had tons of rarities, and I'll be showing a bunch of those on the screen for you guys if you want to look at them. But we've had tons of rarities, but nothing has come close to Gold Stars because people were looking for a combination of beauty of card and difficulty to pull. And because there have been cards since then that have been very hard to pull, like the hyper rares from Sun and Moon. They're very hard to pull, but no one really liked them because people thought they were kind of ugly. Or even like the Gold Stars from Legendary Treasure, or sorry, not Gold Stars, the gold full arts from Legendary Treasures. They're great cards, but they don't have the same pop as the Gold Stars did. And alternate arts checked all those boxes. Alternate arts are beautiful cards. I have a Honchkrow here. They're beautiful cards, and they're also very hard to pull. The fact that they're one in every 2 to 3 boxes is something that is both good and bad in terms of like, it's great for collectors in terms of like it gives them a chase, but there is one problem because people have gone crazy since then. And that's what I want to talk about here, because if you're just in it for the beauty of the card, alternate arts are some of the best in the hobby, but I want to show you guys options that you can kind of collect alongside alternate arts if things like the Moonbryon or the alternate art Charizard or that new Charizard UPC with all those alternate arts. If those are out of your price range, here are some much cheaper options that you guys can collect that I think you'll find are just as comparable. And I have one that I just got in the mail today, which is why I made this video, so I'm going to open that on screen and talk to you about why I bought it. So first off, the most obvious one on the list is cheaper alt arts. So you don't have to get the Moonbryon. This Honchkrow is the reason why I have it here is because it is the exact same rarity as the Moonbryon or the alternate art Charizard. It's the exact same rarity, same beauty in my mind. The Honchkrow with that beautiful illustration. It looks like some sort of like watercolor or oil on canvas sitting on the branch. I just think it's amazing. And this card is 1/10 of the price. So there are cheap alt arts out there. There are so many alt arts that a lot fly under the radar, like this Honchkrow. Everyone focuses on the Moonbryon, the ones that are a few $100s a piece, the new Giratina from Lost Origins. Everyone focuses on those, but there's a lot of alt arts that are just as beautiful that are just cheaper because they're not fan favorite Pokemon. But if you just want the art, then it shouldn't really matter. Personally, that's why I picked up the Honchkrow, because I said, hey, yeah, sure, the Giratina's cool, the Moonbryon's cool, that like Dialga one that's like kind of like distorted, that one's cool, but like this one, it's beautiful and it's 20 bucks, so I thought I'd get that. But in my mind, the alternate arts start with Black and White. With Black and White, they released an alternate art version of an existing Reshiram and Zekrom in the Black and White set as a chase, where this was like the first full art, but it was also basically the first alternate art in my mind because it's a higher chase rarity of like an existing holo. And These cards, I think they're beautiful. They don't have the same like environment that alt arts have, where like the alt art, the Pokemon is like, it's in the environment and it feels more real. This is just a silhouette of the character against a white or a black background. But these are much cheaper than alt arts of today, other than some alt arts of today, and they're much harder to come by in good condition. So that's one place to start. Another place to start is honestly promos from the Sword and Shield era. This is not an alt art. This is an RCSV from the RCSV box. The RCSV box costs $20-ish. You get this promo and 4 packs. So if the packs you're getting them for what, $4 each, you're paying $4 for this this card, and it's, in my mind, it's comparable to an alt art. If you told me this was an alt art and added texture, I would believe you. But people just pay that exorbitant premium because something is an alt art, because of that chase. But if you just want a beautiful art, a lot of these promos like this Arceus are great options. So that's one I wanted to show you guys. Another one is, we're gonna go back to Radiant Collection. Radiant Collection was a subset in the Legendary Treasures Black and White, kind of like final bang of Black and White before they moved into XY. They released Legendary Treasures, which was an amazing set. I remember opening this thing back in like, what was it, 2014 when it came out? Phenomenal set. Everyone was going crazy for it. And they had these Radiant cards that are full arts, but not necessarily like a hyper rare. They're not like an EX or something. They're just full arts. They're alternate arts of an existing Pokemon in the set. And you see it's the RC because for Radiant Collection down there. Just beautiful full arts here. Like this Reshiram and Emolga, 2 of the best full arts ever printed, but they were so cheap. Like the roses behind the Reshiram just look phenomenal. This Emolga with the hearts. I want a comparable thing to Radiant Collection to come back, because there were amazing arts for a fraction of a price. And if you want a full art, great art similar to an alt art, I think these are great options. I don't know how much they go for now. They were a few dollars just a few years ago because they were fairly easy to pull. But they're still great options if you're looking for something like that to fill out a binder of full arts. Another one is this. This is just a random Jirachi. This one actually has an A. For a period of time, they designated alternate arts with this A. So this is an alternate Jirachi art of an existing Jirachi card. Great card. I wish it was textured, that'd just make it a lot better. But still, just a great option, something that you guys might appreciate. And one of the best ones on the list is this Eviltal EX. I want to talk about this for a bit because this, I think, is the first true, like, real alternate art, but the way it came about was interesting. This card wasn't really even meant to be printed. The only reason this was printed was because of Shaman EX. If you guys were in the hobby back in 2016, there was a Shaman EX that was one of the most broken cards in the TCG, and it was in this set called Roaring Skies, and Roaring Skies booster boxes were selling for $300 a piece because of this Shaman EX that was too broken that every player wanted it. Like, you weren't competitive without this Shaman. So they had to find new ways to give out Shaman so that players could have access to this broken card. So they reprinted Roaring Skies, which just melted everyone's minds because that was the first time that was the first time a set got a very noticeable reprint. Roaring Skies booster boxes went from $300 to $70 or like $80 shipped like instantly. It was crazy. But the price creeped back up again, and they wanted another way to give out Shaman EX. So they made basically the first alternate art. They released this premium collection. It was like one of the first like UPC kind of things. It was a premium collection with a bunch of random packs with a Shaman EX on the front. And I'm putting up on screen now. It's a full art Shaman EX, and they had to change the art for that because it was released after the set. So they wanted that card to go out of rotation at the same time as Roaring Skies, even though this package came out like a year or so later. So to avoid this weird situation where the Roaring Skies Shaman EX would rotate out with Roaring Skies, but this new promo that was basically the same card wouldn't, they basically gave it the exact same set number and stuff like that, but then denoted it as an alternate art, so they could release it as a new card, but have it rotate out with the old set. And alongside that Shaman EX was this Eviltall EX and an N supporter card. Beautiful cards, but this card is just amazing. It's textured. It's got this very clean looking like oil painting of Eviltall and Xerneas in the same card. The gold border just pops. It's not that hard of a card to buy because it was a promo, so it's very accessible. But comparing it to alternate arts of today, it just fits in. It's such a great card that I think if people got more eyes on it, I think more people would appreciate it. And the last card I want to show off is, I think, the best, I basically consider it an alternate art card because it's in the same vibe, and I think it's better than all the current alternate arts you can buy, and it's for a fraction of the price. So I'm gonna move this, I'm gonna open this package on screen. Hopefully I don't cut the card, and I'll show you, it's a 3-card set. I just bought one of the cards here, graded, but the other cards are, I have right here. So it's a 3-card set. Technically it's a 4-card set, but the 4th card doesn't really fit the vibe. So these are full art EXs from EX. They're like basically like blister pack collection boxes that were released, I think for, was it Generations, that set? But they had a Venusaur, a Blastoise, and then a Charizard. And I think these cards are some of the most beautiful cards ever printed. And if you want alternate arts but don't want to pay alternate art prices, look no further than these. Like, I'm gonna give you guys just some close-ups on these just so you can really appreciate them. The more you look at it, the more you see. So first off, there's just a great art of the Blastoise. And in the background, you see Vaporeon up here, just kind of hanging out. And there's this really cool shot of a Gyarados like wrapped around the Blastoise in the background. Just a phenomenal art. Beautiful card that I think is much better than any current alt art. These cards are amazing, and you can get them for fairly cheap. Less than $100 in any sort of decent condition. This PSA 8 Charizard was, I think, $60. So if you're fine with PSA 8s, very cheap options. This Venusaur EX, you can see it's a little bit harder to see the Pokemon. There's a lot more going on with like stuff flying around. But you got the Venusaur, you got a Scyther here below it, and a Vileplume above it. And then finally the Charizard, Flareon, Magmar. This great art of a Charizard in the front. These cards are beautiful. And if you're trying to complete an alt art binder, wow, I just noticed that. This case is jacked up. I wonder if that's why it was so cheap. I'll have to read the description, see if that was listed. If not, I might have to get some money back for it. I literally just noticed that. That's a problem for later. Still a beautiful card. So, and there's these 3, and there's another one that I think is really, there's 2 that I'm gonna mention. One of them is you can still find kind of cheap, but not. Hey, sorry, video cut off. So like I was saying, there's 2 more cards that I want to mention. They're much more expensive, but they're just other cards that look like an alternate art type of card that I think if you guys don't know about, you can look it up. There was a Charizard EX card from the XY era, or maybe it was either late Black and White or early EX. I don't remember the promo number, but I'm gonna put the card on the screen here. And it was a Japanese exclusive card that was sold in a Japanese like art book that you could buy of just like art. It would show off art of different cards over the years in the hobby. And it came with this really good Charizard EX card where he's like in some combat with Venusaur, and you can see Charizard flying overhead while like Venusaur is like wrapping its like little like tentacle things around him, his vines. That card is just phenomenal. It's a pretty pricey card because it's a very exclusive Japanese card. I always kick myself because I remember back in like 2016, whenever it was like pretty new, I had them on my watch lists on eBay. I had them in my cart at some points for like 20 or 30 bucks near mint, and I just never pulled the trigger, and now they're worth hundreds. So I'm probably not gonna ever get that card. That's a beautiful card that can stand up to an alt art any day of the week. That one might actually be a little bit more expensive than an alt art, but still, if you're looking for cards that are comparable to alt arts that aren't necessarily from that Sword and Shield block, great option. And the last one is very pricey. It's pretty much out of anyone's price range, like any normal collector's price range. I just want to mention it because they're beautiful cards. They were the Team Rocket exclusive, like there was a Team Rocket exclusive box released in Japan that only had 2 cards in it, and it was a Jesse and James card, and then a Giovanni supporter card. And the Giovanni supporter card is it's just beautiful. It's him sitting on this very luxurious chair with like a Persian at his side. Beautiful card. That's another card where like these cards can stand up to alt art in terms of quality, and they're years earlier. So those two are very out of price range. But if you're looking for just beautiful cards and you're not collecting purely for the rarity of alt arts, these cards are just great. The 3 I have up here, promos from the XY era, sometimes just knocked it out of the park. Radiant Collection, once again, beautiful cards. Those are great options for any collector, and those ones are still fairly affordable. And also just some of the V promos. If you told me, like I said, if you told me this was all in alt art, I would have believed you. It's just like a beautiful card. I think this was the one that was Japanese exclusive at one point, where you had to like pre-order Pokemon Arceus and you got this card, but then they released it in a promo for English. But beautiful art, stuff like that. You can find lots of promos like I just showed you with Radiant Collection or tin promos or stuff like that are a fraction of the price of an alt art, but no one really cares about them because it doesn't carry that alt art name. And I think right now there's a lot of emphasis on the rarity of the card, which is important for value because you know it's much harder to get, so it'll be much higher value on the secondary market. But for like just like binder collectors or people that are just purely want it for the art, there's a lot of options out there. And that's just what I wanted to showcase in this video. Let me know what you think. Did you like them? Any ones you didn't know about before that I showed you that you really liked? Yeah, if so, let me know. And if you have any ideas for a video, shoot me a DM. Thanks. Bye.